Well, good morning from my side. If you are new, my name is Pastor Jackson. I have the privilege of pastoring this church. And also, good morning to those that are tuning in online and watching and following the service. It's my privilege and honor to share the message with you. And today, I want to talk a little bit about offense. And that's not something that you build. I'm talking about offense. When we get offended, and every single person in your life, you had a moment where something offended you or someone offended you. Now, whenever I think about offense, I think about a friend of mine in South Africa. He was a youth pastor, and he and his wife invited a teen to come to their house to have dinner. And while the teen was there, he looked at a wedding photo on the wall. And he looked at it, and he asked them, "Who's this?" And they said, "Oh, that's us on our wedding day." And he looked at it, and he looked at them, and he looked at it again, and then he asked, "But what happened?" How many times has that happened when people, they're just so honest? And in that honesty, like, wow, that hurts. You know, you really offended me with what you said. And when it comes to kids, we should never take offense. They really just say it as it is. But whenever I think about offense, I think we should see offense in two stages. And the first stage is the feeling of offense. You know, someone says something and you start feeling, you feel offended because someone said something and, it's something happened. Maybe something happened at the shop, someone said something in traffic, someone cut you off, you feel offended. Maybe it's at work, you feel overlooked, anything, but it's a feeling that I feel offended. I felt offended today when that happened. That's the first stage, the feeling of offended. The second stage is the choice. I either have the choice to live offended, or I have the choice not to be offended, not to live in this offense. And many are unaware sometimes when it comes to the second stage. Like, they're unaware that, I didn't realize that I had the choice to not be offended because it happened. And I feel this. And because I feel this, I just thought that this is the way I have to react. So I want to do the following, and I really want to ask you, please, from the bottom of my heart, whatever you do, please do not do this. Do not think about a pink elephant. I'm really asking you, don't think about a pink elephant. Don't do it. Please do not think about that. You see, whether you like it or not, you're thinking about it because I'm talking about it. So whenever someone says something to you, without you having any control over it, you're thinking about it. But that doesn't mean that just because I feel it and it happened that I have to choose to live with this offense. You can make a choice right now that, okay, I'm not going to keep on thinking about this pink elephant. I heard it once, I thought about it once, but now I'm just going on. So when stage one comes and we feel this feeling of offended, this is what happens. We are presented with an opportunity to be offended. And it's literally like someone is presenting you with something to drink. So I'm going to try and make us a very interesting concoction. I hope you can see it. We have some water. And this offense can come from people you know. It can be a family member. It can be a friend. We've got some vegetable broth. It can be a friend. It can be a work colleague that says something, that did something. It can be a complete stranger that we've got some soy sauce. We just trying to make something that is going to be interesting. It can be a husband. It can be a wife. It can literally be anybody. This is a peri-peri sauce. It's actually a very nice peri-peri sauce. We've got some hickory smoke. Let's do this one too. So offense can come in many ways, in ways that people did not necessarily mean to offend you, but they did say something. They did something that really hurt you, and it's like this drink, but it's just being poured in front of you. Now, this is a South African thing. We call it a braai salt. So that's what we call a barbecue in South Africa. So there's a very popular one. I'm just going to dish that so that I have the South Africans that offend me. And some lemon juice. I'm just trying to make it interesting as possible. And let's try a little bit of, we've got some, this is a tongue twister, Worcestershire sauce, or however you try and pronounce it. And it's maybe even when you try and pronounce something, people can also make fun of you and how you pronounce something. And you get offended with that. And then a little bit of some orange juice. Now the thing with offense is, when people do this and when they say something to you, I'm not arguing that it's right, the things that people say. Usually it's not right what they say, and usually it is very hurtful. And then as they do this and they present to you like a glass, don't drink it. Don't drink it. That's as simple as that. We should learn to do, but what we do is we'll look at it. I can't believe this is what they did. I can't believe this is what they said. You know how I feel because they did this? And we call a friend. Let's go for coffee. Come to my house. Hey, it's so great to see you. Look at this. Can you believe this is what they did? I mean, just look at that. It's just terrible. The things they said and the things they did to me. This is just, and we keep on taking the drink. We keep on looking and we keep on focusing on that during this stage, during this first stage. We invite people to discuss the offense that people did to us and the things that they said, the things that happened, and we keep on dwelling on the offense. And then during the second stage, we think if we dwell on it, it's like trying to take poison and you expect the other person to die, but you're taking it. So we have the opportunity and we have the choice to say, I'm going to leave this right there. You know, I still see it, but I'm not going to drink it. I'm not going to drink it. I'm not going to dwell on this. Yes, someone said something that was hurtful. Someone did something that wasn't right, but I'm not going to drink that because it looks disgusting. It looks disgusting. It's not going to taste good. So I make the choice not to live in the offense. And you have to understand that offense is going to happen. It is certain. In Colossians 3:13, Paul says the following. He says, make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Those who offend you, it's going to happen. And most of the times, people don't even mean it. They just say something, and then you can keep an offense, and you can ask them, you can tell them 2, 3 years later, you know what? 3 years ago you did this. And they were like, what? I don't even remember. And you took that drink over and over and over for the past 3 years. It was you. You see, we have that choice to make the choice that I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm not going to live with this. How many times you might have been insulted or betrayed? People say certain things, they break you down. We live in a society where that's what people do, and it's not right. I'm not saying that is right. You know, I remember when I was in school, people, they really pointed to my nose. I know I have a sharp nose. I know it. People told me that over and over. So some of my friends, they would call me, hey, Jackson, as I looked to them, they would, oh, whoa, you almost poked my eye out with your nose. Wow. Then this arm, I broke this arm when I was 8 years old. Pretty bad. They fixed it, and it really didn't grow back properly. And I'll show, that's how it looks. So as a result, when I greet someone, maybe it looks a little bit different. And some of my friends would do the following. They say, hey, Jax, how are you doing? So why are you doing that? I said, oh, that's your arm. And I was offended. For a long time that I didn't know how to walk with my arms. Let's just put your hands in your pockets. And I chose to drink that. Another friend said, as they were driving around, his friend said, hey, that guy, he's got a real painter nose. And my friend replied, what is a painter nose? You know, he can take his nose, he can hook it into the gutter, and then he can paint with both hands. Yes. How many times have people said something that was really offensive? It offended you. Wow, how could they say this to me? And it hurt me. It hurts you. And here's the bottom line. Not everyone considers your feelings. They don't, and I'm not condoning that. People, they don't invite you to a party. You thought maybe you were part of the group, and then you see on social media, oh, they had a party. I never knew. They didn't invite me. People that treat you wrong. And here's the thing, is just because you were treated wrong and you have the right to be offended, it doesn't mean that you should still be offended. Just because you have the right to be offended doesn't mean you should still be offended. Listen to what Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 10:23. It says, I have the right to do anything you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. These people were coming out of a legalistic system, and with a lot of rules. And all of a sudden, they wanted to do the complete opposite. Oh, wow, now we have freedom. And another translation says, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything builds you up. I've heard so many times when kids or teenagers would say, I cannot wait till I'm an adult, then I can do what I want. One child actually said, when I'm an adult, I'm going to eat ice cream and chocolates every day for the whole day, and no one can tell me not to do it. And you're 100% right. You can do that. And if you do that for every day, for the rest of your life, no one is going to stop you, but it's not going to be good. Not everything is going to be beneficial. So he really comes and he says, with this, just because you feel you have the right, because you offended me, you did something that I don't agree with, just because you have the right doesn't mean it's the best thing to do. Let's think about online comments and posts. This is probably one of the areas that the most people fail. You see a ridiculous comment. What? How can this person make a statement like this? I mean, they absolutely know nothing what they're talking about. Right. Let me tell them the truth, and I'm going to let them have it. You see, so how many times we read something or we see something and we get offended and we want to respond, and Paul comes and said, it doesn't mean because you are right, because maybe you are right, that's going to be beneficial. The way that you are going to respond, and in between that, where you're starting to respond and you're just letting this person know what you think, God reminds you that you are still a child of God. And what you're doing right now is not the perfect response. What are you doing? How am I responding? Let's make a choice. I need to make a choice. I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to drink this. This is not beneficial. In Galatians 5:13, Paul says the following. He says, "For you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another." You see, these people, they wanted to use their freedom to do everything. And he says, no, don't use your freedom as an opportunity for your flesh. Because if you do that, you're going to respond. We know what the fruit of the flesh is. It is fits of anger, it's division, it's strife. So if you want to use your freedom in a moment like that, that's going to be an opportunity for sin and for your flesh to react. I'm going to show this person. I'm going to give this person a piece of my mind. Oh, and there's the fruit of the flesh. There's the fits of anger. There's the division. There's the strife that comes. And that's what Paul says. You have the choice. Let's not choose to drink that. Every single time that it's presented to me in an opportunity where someone does something, says something that I don't like, and it offends me, it hurts me, I have a choice how I'm going to react. If I'm going to drink it, then I'll have the results. I'm going to live in that. I'm going to live with that offense. What about political view? So many times people would, if you see someone with a certain hat or a shirt or you see a sticker, we've got it in every country, in our country too. There are people with different political parties, and you want to get offended. But once again, Paul says, let's not react and use that opportunity to cause division and strife. That's the way of the flesh. We've got to be kingdom-minded and say, God, but your will and in your kingdom, you want to advance your kingdom, and there should be peace, there should be love. That's the way. And if I'm going to drink this, I'm going to respond with division and hatred. But I'm not going to drink that. I want to respond with love. Another hot topic all over the world is race. And in John 4:7-10, we read and we have this encounter with Jesus and the Samaritan woman. And it says, a woman from Samaria came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." For his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. And the Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, asks a drink from me, a woman of Samaria. Because first of all, as a Jew, you were not allowed to have an encounter with another woman if they were not family. And second of all, you did not have any encounters with the Samaritans. That was it. So here he does two things that is out of custom. He's not supposed to do that. And she's asking this, why are you doing this? And he answered her, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. Now, something that we notice in this encounter is he talks in public. He's in public and he talks to her and they're talking. It's good. I think it's good if we talk. Today, too often, people don't want to talk. Let's sit around a table and let's talk. They had differences. The Samaritans believed that you worship on a different mountain. You worship differently than the Jews. They had their differences, but he talked with her. And when you hold on to a fence, you don't talk, you shout. And that doesn't bring us together. He talked. Galatians 3:28. It says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. And here, Paul is not stripping people of their race or their heritage or their culture, nothing. We celebrate it. We celebrate culture. And the very first message when we launched the church, I preached about South African potjie. It's a dish that we make. It's a big pot, and you just add in everything: the meats, the vegetables, the spices, and everything together makes an incredible meal. And that's what God does with all the cultures. It's something to celebrate, but what he is addressing in this piece of Galatians is that no race is more superior. We see this. And I know there are things in the world that are happening, and every day we're presented with certain things that the enemy is trying to lure us to take a drink so that we may be offended. James 1:13-15, and a couple of weeks ago I shared about this too. James says, let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed, and he uses these terminology of a hunter and a fisherman. The enemy, the devil, is trying to entice you and to lure you with these kind of things. Look at what this person is saying. This person is saying this, and look at what is happening. You should be offended. He's luring and trying to entice every single day. And we have the choice. Am I going to drink it or not? And we have to understand, we've got to know it's wrong with what people are doing, but I also have to know if I take it, the consequences are going to be worse for me. I know the things that people say and do. This is not right. But this does not mean that I have to take this. I have the choice to say that I want to be different. Even though people do that and they say that to me, I'm not gonna dwell on that. The amount of times that Jesus was spat on, he was hit, and the false accusations, even while he was on the cross, and the mockery, he did not take that and dwell on that. He still, in that moment, said, Father, forgive. Because he was drinking from something different. He said we have a choice. Matthew 11, verse 6 says, "And blessed is the one who is not offended." We have a choice every single day. Am I going to allow the flesh to lead and to win every time? And am I going to continue to listen to the enemy and say, "Oh yes, but you're right. They did hurt my feelings, and I'm gonna drink that. I'm gonna drink that, and I'm gonna live in this offense." Proverbs 19:11 says, "Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense." We have a choice, and if we ask the Holy Spirit, lead us and help me every day. I need you every day, Lord. I need to forgive every day. When people do something that hurts me, I want to be able to forgive. I do not want to take that. I do not want to drink that. But what's going to be the choice? Are we going to continue looking at it, and dwell on this? Look at this. I can't believe they did this. Oh, it's just disgusting. Here we go. That is just disgusting. Or are we going to do what Jesus says in John 7:37? "Come to me, he who's thirsty, and drink. And he who believes, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." Oh, it's so much better. Every day we're presented with this. And in reality, you'll never drink this. Never. But yet we do. Every day. We still choose that instead of this. Every day. That's the only way that Jesus was able, in that opportunity, while he was being crucified, to say, "Father, forgive. They do not know what they're doing." What are you going to do? Don't drink of that. Don't drink that.